In the US, the police have launched a crackdown on pro-Palestine protesters in the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. The police arrested protesting students during a pre-dawn raid. They also dismantled the encampment set up by the UCLA protesters. US President Joe Biden has broken his silence on the nationwide pro-Palestine campus protests. Biden said that the US was not authoritarian but insisted that order must prevail. He added that there had to be a balance between the right to peaceful protest and the need to prevent violence. He also said that there should be no place on any campus or in America for anti-Semitism. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has condemned the American crackdown on college campus protests. Erdogan said that the authorities were displaying cruelty on conscientious students protesting against the massacre in Gaza. He said that the protesters were being subjected to violence, suffering, and even torture. Over 2,000 student protesters have been arrested across the US so far. Inspired by the protests in American colleges, hundreds of students staged rallies at the University of Sydney. The pro-Palestine students demanded that Sydney University divest from companies with ties to Israel. Meanwhile, hundreds gathered with Australian and Israeli flags in a counter-protest. The two rallies were separated by lines of security guards. According to a United Nations report, 72% of Gaza's housing has been destroyed. Rebuilding the enclave's shattered homes will take until at least 2040 in the best-case scenario. However, it could also take 80 years to restore all the fully destroyed housing units. This is if the pace of reconstruction follows the trend of previous Gaza conflicts. According to Ukrainian authorities, 8 children and an elderly man were injured in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region. This is after Russian guided bombs struck a site close to a sports complex in the town of Derhachi. Derhachi is near the border with Russia and has been subjected to frequent aerial attacks. The United States is preparing new coordinated sanctions with its allies. The sanctions will target transfers of arms and refined petroleum between Russia and North Korea. Moscow is allegedly providing petroleum to Pyongyang and acquiring North Korean weapons. The US State Department says that it's working to impose the new sanctions this month. A powerful explosion leveled a home in New Jersey in the US. The explosion killed at least one person. Emergency responders arrived at the scene to contain the resultant fire and secure the area. Authorities are still trying to figure out the cause of the explosion. About 400 US-bound migrants were found in 3 buses that were abandoned on a Mexican highway. The migrants were left in the city of Veracruz in southeastern Mexico. Local authorities eventually picked up the migrants. The people of foreign origin, including some minors and a pregnant woman, were handed over to Mexico's migration authorities. The British police clashed with protesters in London after they blocked a bus carrying asylum seekers to a barge. The demonstrators chanted, "Let them go," and sat on the road to stop the bus. The police reportedly arrested 45 people during the protest. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets again in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi. They were protesting against a new foreign agent bill that is making its way through parliament. The protesters say that the bill is inspired by a similar law in Russia. It requires organizations that receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad to register as agents of foreign influence. India's main opposition party, the Indian National Congress, has made an announcement. The Congress says that their leader, Rahul Gandhi, will contest the general election from the Raebareli constituency in Uttar Pradesh. The seat was previously held by his mother, Sonia Gandhi. She won the Raebareli seat for 4 consecutive terms. In Ghana, 32 artifacts that once belonged to royalty have made their way back home. These crown jewels were looted by British colonizers about 150 years ago. 2 museums in the UK have sent these treasures back, but only on a 3-year loan. The museums are not permanently returning the Ghanaian artifacts. In climate news, heavy rainfall has returned to the United Arab Emirates. It comes days after floods brought the region to a standstill. Dubai authorities have sent emergency notifications to citizens asking them to stay home. Several flights were disrupted and many were cancelled. The death toll from heavy rain in Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state has risen to 29. The water levels in the state's capital, Porto Alegre, reached 3 meters on Thursday. The local government has declared a state of public calamity. Meanwhile, some regions of Brazil have seen a record number of wildfires this year. Between January and April, authorities put the number at over 17,000. It's an 81% increase from last year. Nepal is currently battling raging wildfires near its capital, Kathmandu. Both firefighters and local residents are trying to contain the flames. The authorities in Nepal have blamed the wildfires on a severe heat wave. More than 4,500 wildfires have been reported in the country this year. Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh are suffering under the ongoing brutal heat wave. Over 1 million people live in the Kutupalong Rohingya refugee camp. Several cases of heat stroke and severe dehydration have been reported from the camp. Dozens of children have also developed skin diseases. New data shows that Hong Kong recorded its hottest April in 140 years. The average temperature was 24.6 degrees Celsius. Hong Kong's record-breaking April comes after an exceptionally warm winter in the region. Canada says its greenhouse gas emissions rose in 2022. This happened after the economy started recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. But the country says it's still on track to meet its emissions reduction goal for 2030. Canada has committed to reduce its emissions by 40 to 45% by the end of this decade. On to business and tech news. Apple has reported its biggest quarterly sales decline of the past year. The firm's total sales dropped by nearly 4% in the first 3 months of 2024. During the quarter, iPhone sales plunged by 10%. The demand for other Apple products like iPads, Apple Watches, and AirPods also weakened. Meanwhile, Apple has announced its largest ever stock buyback plan. The firm is planning to buy back its own shares worth around $110 billion. Apple will start charging a core technology fee from iPad app developers in the European Union. This is similar to the fee it already imposes on iPhone app developers in the bloc. Apple charges European app developers about 54 cents for every app download on an iPhone. Now, Apple will apply similar fees on iPads as well. South Korean chipmaker SK Hynix has said that its entire stock of high-end memory chips for 2024 has been sold out. It says next year's memory chips are also nearly gone. The demand for memory chips has surged recently, driven by a boom in artificial intelligence technology. SK Hynix is the world's second largest producer of memory chips. The share prices of the American chipmaker Qualcomm jumped by nearly 10% yesterday. The shares surged after the firm reported a rise in demand for its chips, especially from Chinese smartphone makers. Qualcomm said that smartphone makers are buying high-end chips that can power artificial intelligence features. The US-based Universal Music Group has reached a new licensing agreement with the Chinese social media platform TikTok. This will allow TikTok to restore Universal's songs on the app. The old licensing deal between the two firms expired earlier this year. After that, TikTok was forced to mute the Universal Music Group's songs on its platform. The cryptocurrency firm Coinbase has reported over $1 billion in profit for the first quarter of this year. The firm had reported a net loss for the same period last year. Coinbase's profits were boosted by a surge in the prices of cryptocurrencies. This is after the US market regulator approved new investment products based on the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. The exercise equipment maker Peloton is laying off about 400 employees. This is about 15% of the firm's total workforce. The job cuts are part of Peloton's reorganization plan. The company's CEO, Barry McCarthy, has also announced his resignation. Peloton has been struggling to grow after the COVID-19 pandemic. The demand for its fitness bikes and other exercise equipment has declined. The U.S. Fair Trade Commission has approved the merger of oil giant ExxonMobil and its rival Pioneer Natural Resources. The $60 billion merger was announced last year. However, the deal was facing scrutiny over the fear of potential energy price hikes and lower wages for workers. While approving the deal, the U.S. trade regulator barred Pioneer's co-founder, Scott Sheffield, from joining Exxon. Sheffield is a key figure in the oil industry, but he has been accused of conspiring to hike oil prices. Russian oil giant Gazprom has reported its first loss in the last 24 years. The state-owned firm disclosed a net loss of nearly $7 billion for 2023. These losses have been attributed to a sharp decline in oil shipments to Europe. Gazprom's oil and gas exports to Europe plummeted after Western nations imposed sanctions on Russia in response to its invasion of Ukraine. Another whistleblower from the US plane maker Boeing has reportedly died. The whistleblower, Joshua Dean, was a former Boeing quality auditor. He raised concerns about manufacturing defects in the Boeing 737 MAX jets. He has died at the age of 45. Dean reportedly died due to a sudden and fast-spreading infection. Another Boeing whistleblower, John Mitch Barnett, was found dead in March this year. Moving to sports news, we start with cricket and the Indian Premier League. Sunrisers Hyderabad secured a nervy one-run win over Rajasthan Royals yesterday. Skipper Pat Cummins won the toss and elected to bat first against Rajasthan. Half-centuries by Travis Head and Nitish Reddy helped them post a 201 for 3 in the first innings. For Rajasthan, Rian Parag and Yashasvi Jaiswal scored 50s after a couple of early wickets. Bhuvneshwar Kumar snapped 3 wickets during Rajasthan's run chase. West Indies batter Devon Thomas has been banned for 5 years by the International Cricket Council. The ban comes after Thomas admitted to 7 anti-corruption breaches. His most serious offence involved match-fixing attempts during Sri Lanka's domestic T20 competition in 2021. Thomas also confessed to failing to report illegal approaches during the Abu Dhabi T10 and Caribbean Premier Leagues. In football, Chelsea beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in the English Premier League at Stamford Bridge yesterday. Trevor Kulaba opened the scoring with a powerful header. Chelsea struck again in the 72nd minute, with Nicholas Jackson heading a rebound into an empty net. Tottenham were lackluster throughout the match and didn't create many chances. In tennis, men's world number 4 Daniil Medvedev of Russia has withdrawn from the Madrid Open. This was due to an injury that he sustained during his quarterfinal match yesterday. Medvedev experienced discomfort in the upper part of his right leg during the first set. This casts a doubt over his participation in the upcoming French Open. Women's world number one Iga Swiatek has cruised into the finals of the Madrid Open. She crushed Madison Keys of America 6-1, 6-3 in straight sets in the semi-finals. Swiatek dominated throughout the match and needed just 70 minutes to stamp her authority. She will next face Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus in the final. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka, who's the defending champion of the Madrid Open, produced a stellar comeback in her semi-final match against Elina Rybakina. Sabalenka had lost the first set 1-6 against her opponent, but she rallied back 7-5, 7-6 to book her berth at the finals of the tournament. In badminton, India's title defence at the Thomas Cup has ended in the quarterfinals. The Indian men's team was defeated by hosts China 1-3. Top Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen recorded the only win in the second singles match. Meanwhile, the curtains also came down on the Indian women's shuttlers. They were featuring at the Uber Cup and were eliminated in the quarterfinals. The Indian women were knocked out 3-0 by reigning champions Japan. In hockey, Salima Tete has been appointed the captain of the Indian women's hockey team. This is for the Belgium and England legs of the FIH Pro League 2023-24. She will replace veteran goalkeeper Savita Punia to lead the national squad. India will face Argentina and Belgium twice in the first phase of the competition. The US Anti-Doping Agency, or the USADA, has come down hard on the World Anti-Doping Agency, or the WADA. This is after the WADA published its report on how they handled the Tokyo Olympic doping scandal. The USADA called the report, quote-unquote, doubling down on half-truths. The WADA had allowed 23 Chinese swimmers to participate in the Tokyo Olympics, despite them testing positive for a banned substance. Now in entertainment news, the names of 40 people will be included in the French dictionary in 2024. The singer Beyoncé's name will be added as a proper noun. Other entries of the 2024 are Kate Blanchett, LeBron James and Christopher Nolan. These new entries highlight the concerns, developments or strong movements of this year. Britney Spears has opened up about why she walked out topless and barefoot from a Los Angeles hotel. She denied rumors that she left after a heated argument with her boyfriend. The singer took to social media to say that she twisted her ankle. Spears, at the end of her Instagram post, wrote that she is moving to Boston. Actor Tiffany Haddish says that she's done with hate comments and online trolling. In an interview, she revealed that she sometimes investigates her trolls. She also finds a way to contact them directly. Haddish claims that she hired a digital forensics analyst when she received death threats. Her analysts revealed that 75% of these threats were created by bots in Malaysia and Iran. Harry Potter star Tom Felton has joined the cast of Hansal Mehta's Gandhi. He will play the role of Mahatma Gandhi's London-based friend Hosea Oldfield. Felton played the role of Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter franchise. The new Hansal Mehta web series will also feature Pratik Gandhi in a pivotal role. Nick Jonas and Paul Rudd will be seen sharing screen space in Power Ballad. The musical comedy film is currently filming in Dublin. The story is about a clash between a wedding singer and a rock star. The official theatrical release date of the film is yet to be announced. Marvel star Chris Hemsworth has cleared the air around his health condition. He stated that neither does he have dementia nor is he retiring. This comes after reports claim that he's developed Alzheimer's disease. In 2022, Hemsworth revealed that he's at an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. Ryan Gosling revealed in an interview that he doesn't do psychologically twisted roles. He wants to maintain his mental health for the sake of his family. Gosling wants to avoid roles that will put him in a dark place. He now takes decisions keeping his family in mind. The red carpet was rolled out for the Los Angeles premiere of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Actors Owen Teague, William H. Macy, and Freya Allen were seen at the event. During the event, director Wes Ball said he thinks people will love it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will release on May 10th. American actor Meryl Streep will be felicitated with the honorary Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. She'll get the award on the opening night of the festival. Along with Meryl Streep, George Lucas will also get the award. The 77th edition of the Cannes Film Festival will take place between May 14th and May 25th. Hugh Jackman will be hosting the Global Citizen Festival in New York. The Global Citizen Festival is an annual music festival that aims to end extreme poverty. 2024 marks the 12th year of the Global Citizen Festival. It will be held in September this year.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.